Are Black Americans playing into the racial construct like the race card? Presentation/research by Roland Dunham, II, MS. Music by #SkiBeats. When people from the lineage-based collective community uses white supremacy talking points to discourage people in our community, it is a form of intra-ethnic racial discrimination. The example being used is playing the race card, playing in the white supremacists' racial construct, or playing in their game is ethically and morally wrong when we have not created or make such contracts for approval to be treated in this manner. This small video presentation is based on the Negro historical investigative narrative under the Critical Negro Truth or Critical Negro Lineal Truth. Please share and subscribe to our website at tnbkhc.org and make sure you come seek us and find the truth in a righteous manner. The origin of the race card logic. A quick look at the history of the race card. The origins of the phrase, playing the race card, are unconfirmed. But it is believed to have its roots in the phrase, the sure card, which dates back to the 16th century and means, a person who was sure to succeed. A popular theory about the origin of the race card is that it relates back to an 1863 cartoon called Abe Lincoln's Last Card, or Rouge et Noir in the British magazine, Punch. The cartoon derides President Abraham Lincoln and the Emancipation Proclamation and casts the abolition of slavery as a reckless gamble. Lincoln is depicted as a devil forcefully throwing down the ace of spades with the spade on the card in the shape of a black man's head. View the original image published in Punch magazine, http://punch. photoshelter.com/image/i0000pxbr3n7 preview. According to Merriam-Webster, the first documented use of the phrase, play the race card, appeared in a 1974 article in the British newspaper, The Observer. The phrase entered the common lexicon in the United States by the 1980s and became especially contentious during the criminal trial of O.J. Simpson in the mid-1990s when the prosecution and media accused Simpson's lawyers of using the race card as part of their defense strategy. During the 2008 and 2012 campaigns of President Barack Obama, the phrase, the race card, was widely used on all sides and became a regular topic of discussion and debate in the media. The first recorded use of the gender card appeared in an article in the Boston Globe in August 1990 and was later joined by the phrase, the woman card. The phrase was used regularly during Hillary Clinton's 2008 and 2016 presidential campaigns by her political opponents, her own campaigns, and the media. The origin of the race card logic. Originally, a race card was a printed card giving information about the horse races scheduled for a particular race meeting. Its first attested use was in 1836, Oxford English Dictionary Online. The newer two-word play on race card, came on the scene a century and a half later, around 1974, according to Merriam-Webster Dictionary Online. It has a different meaning but one related to, and probably derived from, the original meaning. According to Merriam-Webster, a race card is the issue of a person's race as it relates to a particular contest, such as a political campaign or a court trial, often used in the phrase play the race card. The meaning of this term, however, goes far beyond the bland dictionary definition. The expression, he's playing the race card, is now pretty much a fixed expression in American English, but if you analyze its internal structure, it becomes clear that it is a powerful metaphor that evokes many semantic frames. The most obvious frame is the poker playing frame. He's playing the race card, i.e. not a joker or an ace, but the race card. This metaphor is very revealing. Just as when you're in a card game you play a card that is advantageous to you, it's a strategic move, in other words. It's a trump card. This is exactly how the term race card is interpreted. What does it mean to play the race card? ND. The origin and concept on race. After race, as a scientific term, was first introduced by the French philosopher-scientist Georges L. de Buffon in 1749, the term was expanded into a system for the classification of the varieties of humankind by Johann Friedrich Blumenbach in his book on the natural variety of mankind written in 1775, Jet. 2021. The Negro Historical Investigative Narrative Perspective. The American abolitionist movement was one of the key political and intellectual developments that proved central to the history of racism. It grew from a religious revival known as the Great Awakening, which began in New England in the 1740s. This movement attacked the religious justifications for slavery. The First Great Awakening did not produce an anti-slavery movement. This was accomplished by the Second Great Awakening, which swept the country between 1825 and 1832, producing in 1833 the first national abolitionist organization, the American Anti-Slavery Society. From its inception, the organized abolitionist movement propagandized against slavery. Millions of pieces of literature were produced attacking slavery on religious and moral grounds as well as pronouncing it contrary to the fundamental principles of the American way of life. This material was distributed in both the North and the South and was so effective that by 1835, President Andrew Jackson was forced to appear before Congress and call for the passage of a law as will prohibit under severe penalties the circulation in the Southern states through the mail of incendiary publications intended to instigate the slave to insurrection. Jet, 2021. The American abolitionist movement was one of the key political and intellectual developments that proved central to the history of racism. It grew from a religious revival known as the Great Awakening, which began in New England in the 1740s. This movement attacked the religious justifications for slavery. The First Great Awakening did not produce an anti-slavery movement. This was accomplished by the Second Great Awakening, which swept the country between 1825 and 1832, producing in 1833 the first national abolitionist organization, the American Anti-Slavery Society. From its inception, the organized abolitionist movement propagandized against slavery. Millions of pieces of literature were produced attacking slavery on religious and moral grounds as well as pronouncing it contrary to the fundamental principles of the American way of life. This material was distributed in both the North and the South and was so effective that by 1835, President Andrew Jackson was forced to appear before Congress and call for the passage of a law as will prohibit under severe penalties the circulation in the Southern states through the mail of incendiary publications intended to instigate the slave to insurrection. Jet, 2021. Racism is discrimination based on an individual's or community's race. While bigotry and social exclusion have always occurred, white Europeans and Americans created the modern concept of race to justify slavery. Soken Huberty, 2023. 5 reasons why it is a problem. 1. Discriminating against people based on race. 2. Eliminating people based on race. 3. Dividing society by race. 4. Claiming to not see race. 5. Using racial slurs and spreading racial stereotypes. Soken Huberty, 2023. Negroes to FBA. Protection Bill. Against Black American immigrants. Legally combating #NES behavior. All we got to do is stand up. And it is game over.
Black Star Media. The Book Patch presenting Delineationology. The Science of Delineation for the Negro American. Available for $19.99 or $10 for PDF. Please scan to purchase. Or email me for more details at delineationology@gmail.com.
Authentically a real Negro. Established in 2025. I am a Negro. I am not a term. I am a part of a bloodline. We are a people. We have our own land. And we are a nation.